1. Greetings there, peoples. Your cult personality, your Toon Critic's name, Toon's name.
Are you serious?
Okay,
hey,
you know what? At
Keyframe
least
wasn't here. I had to do it.
At least it wasn't Keyframe. Welcome to Roundtable is Magic, the show where we take a look at the show that is of the Pones of seasons 2, 6, and now 7. Canada is being a real butt right now. We're still sticking to the
Blame
schedule.
Canada. Blame Canada.
We are
You're
still
all a bunch of butts, leaving the episodes to run. Sorry.
We're sticking to our schedule, and we're carrying on with the next episode in chronological order. I have a bunch of people here with me, the usual crew. We have British Ninja.
Hey.
We have Voice of Reason.
Hello.
Lightning Bliss.
I take care of my rats.
Golden Fox.
I can be a bit grumpy. Sorry.
A little bit. And Keyframe, who is not here with us, she is a little sick, a little under the weather. Which is alright. We understand. We know she is here in spirit. And our special guest for today, you may know him from a lot of my gaming streams that I used to do, and a few of the Roundtable reviews, but he is making his full debut here on Roundtable's Magic. Ladies and germs, I give you J Fox of Chaos.
Okay, so I finished getting the wiki up and... Wait, this isn't a Kingdom Hearts stream. Why am I here?
Well, you're here, sir, because one of your favorite poems happens to be of the Fluttershy variety.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Also, I phoned Keyframe via toaster. She agrees with everything I say. It's totally 100% backs me up
Toaster.
entirely.
Lies.
She was just like, wow, that Golden sure has wrong opinions.
Oh my
Fuck you!
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Well,
there
you know
goes
what?
the
Yeah.
PG rating.
PG
You haven't
frame.
even started.
Keyframe in spirit is here with me on my side. Totally
Okay.
over here.
Just getting off of the PG rating now, just getting brutally murdered. We have today's episode, which is Fluttershy Leans In, and as I've seen so far, it has caused an interesting split down the middle, especially when it comes to the moral, but we're going to get to that when we get to that. So let's start off with what we liked about this episode, starting off with who wants to go first.
I'll go.
Before we do, should we just lay down a contingency?
Yes.
What?
Maybe none of us should talk about the moral as our negative, because we all
Why?
mutually, I guess, except for one person, that most of us do not agree with the moral.
I mean...
Oh.
You know, I wasn't
Well,
really going to bring it
That
up
is
anyway,
my
so-
negative, though.
I am well aware that is your negative, but it's a lot of us has a negative with that. That's why I'm saying maybe we should all talk about that together.
You know,
Well,
actually,
actually,
that would make sense. I think when we get to it, we'll get to it. And
Well,
then
I
we'll
actually
decide.
I have a different negative.
Okay. I
Okay.
mean, everybody
Yeah.
probably has
Fine,
different
I'll
negatives.
find something
Something
else. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
And
don't touch the moral.
and I'm going to try to get my information out as quick as I can because, wouldn't you know it, I tried to set aside time for this, and now I'm being called for things.
Okay. Do you want to just
So-
do yours first, then?
Yeah, I'm going to get mine first.
All right,
and
go
then,
ahead. What is one thing you liked about today's episode?
I honestly really liked what the concept was, and because it did a lot of world building in bringing on like a lot of new characters, even literally making a new location for us right from the get-go. That's beautiful. You're expanding on things that have already existed, and I love that. I want to know more. Instead of us going through like the same 4 locations every episode.
It can get tiring after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's what I liked.
All right, who do you pass it off to?
You know what? People have mistaken me for you in the past, so Voice, you go next.
All right. I think I actually liked the callback to Daddy McColt.
Oh, you took mine!
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
that's okay, keep going.
I actually thought that was a clever callback. I actually did not see it coming. I was like, oh wait, what expert are you calling? Oh, that guy. I remember that guy from season 5. Wow, it only took you.
Wow, wait, it's been 2 years? Dang.
Yep.
Apparently.
From an
Wow.
episode not a lot of people really talked about.
Remember, it's because it's kind of boring.
Eh.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
That's
Yeah,
another
I
can of
actually,
jar.
I actually
That's
thought that
another
was a
can of
clever
worms.
callback because I remember the McColts were the builders,
The
and
builders.
the
Yeah,
Hayfields
no, I
were
remember.
the farmers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, wait, yeah, I remember now. They were the good builders. You know what? Fine. I will accept this callback. It's a bit out of nowhere and random, but it works.
I will be back as quick as possible. I'm so sorry. I know that you set aside this time, but
Don't worry,
ah,
don't
That's
worry.
fine, dude.
It's
You're
okay.
good.
The
You're
good thing is, because you're first, it's going to be a while till we get back to you, so
okay, so
Yeah.
I will try to return
Alright.
as quick as possible.
no worries.
All
All right, in that case, since I kind of took yours, Bliss, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I liked the vet. What was her name?
Dr. Fauna.
Dr. Fauna. I really, really liked her because even when things looked really, really grim in the episode, I mean, she was even prepared to accept the fact that, well, Fluttershy has failed. These animals have nowhere to go. I'll accept this and I'll just learn to deal with it. But she wasn't about to put the blame on Fluttershy. She was just happy that Fluttershy stepped up and offered to help in the first place. And even though the first attempt failed, she wasn't bitter or horribly upset or crying or throwing a tantrum or anything. She was just like, you did your best, and that's all that matters. I appreciate that you tried to help. These animals will always have a place to stay here no matter what. And man, God bless this vet. She was willing to knuckle down and live in a zoo of her own office just to make sure these animals were happy. And that is a trooper. I really loved the vet character. She was just a real trooper.
I am back. Turns out I can wait about 15 minutes.
It's
Okay.
going to be a while that we get back to you, Jay, so.
Yeah. Just to bring you up to speed, I talked about the vet and how I liked her character.
That's okay. I can catch the replay.
Oh, okay. So I will pass it off to Toon.
All right. So, many of you probably overlooked this, but this is a GM Barrow episode.
Oh.
GM Barrow has written
Yep.
this episode, and I like that it feels like one of her books. Not a lot of you probably read GM Barrow's books. I just recently started.
I thought you were just gonna say.
Yeah, I thought
not all
I
of you
think
were
you were
gonna
gonna.
read.
We thought you were gonna.
Not
Stop
many
at
of you read. What is reading? I don't read. I have a Kindle. I don't need the shelf with all the books. I could put video games there. What are books? Let me just download it onto my Kindle. Anyway,
You read a Kindle,
Wylan
you
wants to
don't just...
assassinate you now.
sorry, my cartoons was showing a bit there. Anyway, so yeah, many of you probably have not read GM Barrow books. They have a certain flow to them, and you can only really say that if you've read the books. I liked how everything really flowed in this episode. I like how some of the dialogue was written. I liked how, I guess the situation was kind of resolved, but overall, I liked the overall feel and flow to the episode. And I'm gonna pass it off to Ninja.
Okay, well, I guess my favorite thing in this episode is probably Fluttershy's drive. Like, I really like how they worked it in that she had a dream, but she was just kind of too shy to talk about it. Like, it's almost like after all these years, after observing Dash and Rarity get their dreams motivated, she's finally like, you know what, maybe I can do it too. And with the show, come on, it's like season 7 by now. Most of the main characters have their stories wrapped up. And Fluttershy has never really had a thing other than being shy. So I'm glad that she has a thing that she can spend some more episodes on, get some more stuff out of Fluttershy, other than just being a shy horse. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Who hasn't gone? Golden?
Fox.
Golden.
I haven't
Golden.
gone. All right. So I'm guessing I'm the last one.
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
positive.
Yes.
All right, so I got to get ready for the negative too. All right, this is somewhat echoing off of British Ninja. I also like the character. I somewhat like the characterization of Fluttershy in that we see that sense of progression, and that she's social and has that sense of shyness. But she also has the other side where she is putting her hoof down, no pun intended,
Yeah.
to if things are going in which she hasn't planned or she hasn't been comfortable with. And this is somewhat of an idea that has been carried on since it needs to be breezy, tanks for the memories, and the majority of seasons 5 and 6. And I love that. I actually like that they're still keeping that consistency there instead of the quote-unquote reset button, which is the buzzword a lot of people like using.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank God
So,
the reset button is gone with Fluttershy.
Don't jinx it, man.
Right? Yeah, don't you?
Please don't jinx it.
But in all seriousness, with this episode, I've grown to appreciate more and more with Fluttershy and what she's doing. And in some cases, she's sometimes the kind of character I wish I was, being kind-hearted, but knowing when to step her foot down and be strong-willed. But seeing how grumpy I am, I'm really not that comparable in hindsight. So, I think it's
Back to me.
you guys laughing about something.
No. Fox, did you say you're negative already?
I'm just about to get ready for it. I'm just thinking of it along the way.
Okay.
This is something in which Keyframe has... What?
And I was saying, and then
No,
it's
no,
back
continue.
to Ninja.
Yes. After that,
Oh.
back to me.
Okay.
So go on.
Yeah, well, anyway, this is going to be echoing off of what Key said, and this is the part where I feel regretful of liking the episode in the first place. Fluttershy was not very clear on what she planned on doing when she wanted to set up her sanctuary. She just laid it out. She didn't, she hired a couple of experts to take care of a couple of things, such as building, working on fabric, and so on and so forth, but she didn't really seem to carefully plan things out too well. And in such a degree, she pretty much gets off scot-free, whereas the experts, the professionals, are the ones that are villainized. And this is almost tackling on the moral, but I'm trying not to touch the moral. I just think that I have to agree with what the majority said, that it wasn't properly worded. So I'm guessing British is going to continue more with that.
Continuing on that.
So I'll just pass it on to him.
I thought that the writing of all of the important stuff in this episode was bad to borderline awful. Like, the dialogue is fine, I guess. It's pretty average, but but the writing of the new characters and the important things that happen in this episode, like the experts, quote unquote, it's just not good. It's not accurate to life. It's not how real people talk. Like, MLP has always had a terrible thing with representing experts, like when they tried to represent critics, like Zesty Gamora back in season 6, I believe. But yeah, I think it ruined a perfectly good moral, which I won't bring up, and I think it's just boring and not fun to watch.
Okay. I agree with you there.
I also want to add something. Nightmare Rider did say this. I disagree. The experts she brought in, she told them specifically what she wanted, and the experts ignore her what the animals needed. I see where he's coming from, because one of them was going for a fabric that she said not to. Another one was going to go for cages, which she said not to. And she also said not to have a building for the construction worker. And they all did not listen to her. They didn't follow the directions of her. However, she didn't really specify how she wanted the sanctuary to go as an entire thing and not the little details.
Like, Fluttershy's presentation in the episode made her come, like, the way that she presented herself to these people, said, oh, I kind of had this idea in mind, I guess. She was still a bit too passive with what she wanted, and made herself seem like a real newbie because she didn't have all this stuff planned that they were expecting to have planned. So they were like, oh, this person doesn't really know what they're doing in our kinds of fields because we're experts, which is terrible writing. Because
may I just add on a bit of realism here?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know this is a kid's show, and I think this might tie in with the fact that it was just badly written. Yeah, Fluttershy told them exactly what she wanted. However, let's put a little realism into this situation. In real life, when we need to build a enclosure that's like a sanctuary but for a zoo, it's extremely open. But even that needs a blueprint or a plan out. Something to tell the workers or the builders the the terrain builders what needs to be doing what, even for dirt, rocks, and building a ravine for a creek or a river. None of that was planned out. She just gave them a picture that she drew up. And she said, do this. How do you do that, though? What needs to be dug up? What needs to how do we change the terrain? How does anything do what? None of this was written out properly for the characters. I know that's pushing, like, you're pushing realism into a kid's cartoon show. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that
make sense.
It should make sense because you are changing the terrain to help suit it for animals, and there needs to be a proper plan for that, not just a doodle.
Blissy, it's like if someone from DeviantArt commissioned you and said, "Hey, I want a dragon OC that kind of looks like a unicorn." You have very little to go off there.
I really do. It's like, what does the
You're
color look
echoing
like?
off of what Keyframe was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well,
But
as I said,
I'm laughing
Keyframe
about
agrees with
this,
me 100%. It's totally Keyframe is totally agreeing with me.
I just wanted to add on something. I did stumble upon a commissioner once when he wanted me to do a vector of his OC. I'm not going to say his name, but he goes describing in details in words, but he didn't properly describe the hairstyle and everything. I'm just said, dude, there's an OC creator. Yeah, but I want you to do it. No, that's something for you to do, dude. Come on.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
Bliss, I'm sure you had a similar issue.
we're not mind readers, is my point. And Fluttershy kind of came off as that type of client who just expect them to read her mind. I don't know. That's, again, it's poor writing. It's not like she intended to come off that way, because she did, in fact, tell them what she said. It's the presentation of how she said it was very good. But anyway, I think it's Zach's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Right. So.
Oh yeah, cartoons. Here we
Oh,
go.
boy.
This episode has boiled me to the bone. I have written up a thesis here on why this
Oh, boy.
episode is just god-awfully
If
terrible.
you bring up the moral after specifically telling me not to do that, I'm going to be really
It
mad
has
at
nothing
you.
to do with that. It has nothing to do with that.
Wait for it.
Here is my 500-page thesis on why this episode
Everybody
is
head for the shelter.
You
Alright,
have
hang on, let me
5
go take a
minutes.
piss. Call me when he's done. You know?
And here it is. I can sum it up like this. What the heck did they do to the giraffes? They've brought giraffes into the show, and they look frickin' weird. I'm so glad. I am so glad that we have some diversity in the animals, but the giraffe does not look right.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
In an
It
episode
looks cute.
with animals, you have sloths, you have bears, you have birds of species I can't even pronounce. I'd have to probably get drunk in order to say them right. You have all of these species that you finally have brought into the show, and you bring the giraffe in, and it looks freaking weird.
Can I just add something to this?
Yes.
We get cows and we get goats, and they are sentient. Why isn't the giraffe?
Okay, who
British
the
Is
heck-
someone pouring something?
Who-
British, stop it. It's not tea time.
Sorry, I was having a pee.
Oh! Dude,
Yeah, that's
I was just questioning it. I was kind of going under the assumption, I mean, sorry for assuming, but I was kind of going under the assumption that all hooved animals, such as cows, goats, deer, were sentient beings just as much as ponies are. So I would think that would go the same for giraffes, because, hey, they are hooved animals.
No, I can definitely see that. Like, in Sister Social, there was a couple of sheep, and they're like, you could have just asked.
Yeah, so why isn't the giraffe not... Why... how about
I
the
really
giraffe?
like the giraffe. I think it's adorable. I want to keep it. I want to
It
protect it.
looks wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know,
look
this is something
right.
that- I mean,
It looks like a
everybody
horse
seems to agree
with a stretched neck. You know,
It's-
I had... Says the person with the Pokemon baseball cap. You're telling me what
just-
doesn't look right.
I just don't understand this show sometimes.
I'm confused.
You know, Toon, you just take over this episode. I'm gonna get high or something.
Of course.
Like the giraffe?
There we go.
That's it. I know for you.
Wait, no! I remember what it looks like. It looks like the frickin' Toys R Us giraffe, and that's why it's nettling me.
Oh yeah, it does look like Joffrey.
It looks like the freaking I'd want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid giraffe. No, that giraffe is going to be put on a watch list for something. I freaking know it.
Oh yeah, that's why it looked familiar.
No, wait, actually, I think it's because I have rather traumatic memories of Toys R Us getting lost there one time. Anyway, that's another story for another time, so I'm going to pass it back to whoever was before me.
Me.
Oh, Toys R Us kid.
Oh my god.
Yeah, fun story. I actually did get lost in a Toys R Us once. Not even joking. It was a very traumatic experience.
You were stuck in a kid toy store. That's like the nicest place to be.
It's literally a best case scenario.
I know.
Unless you're in the Toy Store of Doom.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm stuck on this desert island with hot naked women. Whenever
That
I
is
escape.
two completely different situations, and you know it.
As a kid, it's pretty much the same.
Hashtag ripping off Pixar.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, Bliss, go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, my biggest complaint. Since we kind of already tackled that, I feel like both were in the wrong. I'm just going to tackle the other group. I hated the experts.
I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, no, I can
same.
see that.
They started off nice. They started out sentimental. And in spite of Fluttershy lacking the ability, but probably due to bad writing, to tell them and planning things out of what she wanted, these mother floppers still went over her head. That is not professional. Now, if an expert does not know what a client wants exactly, then they need to tell them that, because they clearly did not know what she was talking about, or they were clueless how to get it going. And what you need to do as a professional is, because I do it all the time, is ask the client exactly what they want, because they were clearly not... Look. I'm going to give an example. I had a client who told me they wanted a picture of their OC. That was the sentence. I have multiple styles on my commission guide. I have line work that's fully colored and shaded, or Hasbro vector style. So, I didn't know what they wanted. I replied back, which style would you like? Line work, artwork and fully shaded, or vector style? They replied back, vector style. And I'm like, okay, have you read my commission guidelines? Because you also did not provide me with a link to your OC. I request a visual reference in order to proceed. Otherwise, I can't take on your commission. They replied back, all I have is a drawing, and they showed me a link of a drawing, and it's literally just a sketch. There's no color. I replied back, unless you can provide me with a visual reference of your OC that is completely colored and finished, I cannot help you. What I recommend is you go to Pony Creator, you can find it on DeviantArt, and create the OC you want. And if there are details on the OC that the Pony Creator cannot function with, you can show me examples of other visual references that you can look up. This is what we call communication, class!
It's almost like the general writing of the episode was really bad.
Yeah, Bliss, you gonna add more of it?
What made me mad is that rather than do what I did, they went over her head. That is horrible. That is unprofessional. That's how you lose a client. And guess what? She shut them down. Why do you think, you dumbasses? Pardon my language.
If I were to, I want to interject and share my experience with the commissioner. I've said before, there was a commissioner who explained things like, do you do OCs and such? I'm like, yeah. this character is blah, blah, and goes explaining things in text, but text can only explain so much. I told him, there's an OC pony creator that you can use. Yeah, but I want you to do it. No. I don't know if it's going to work to your satisfaction, dude. This is your character. You should take it more seriously on how you want it designed. He eventually did one, and then he was asking me, and I was asking him how he wanted it done, and he said, like, the favorite one. I'm like, what do you mean by the favorite one? Do you want a set of 25 poses, 10 poses? I mean, how do you want this done? Also, I want my character in this particular outfit. Okay, but we're not, on the same level here. And
I think I know who you're talking about, too.
I'm not going to say his name, but I was like, do you want 25 vectors or 10 vectors? And he's like, what is a vector? What is a vector?
My God!
All right.
You're looking at a goddamn vector right now! Oh my God! And he's like, okay, forget it. I just go for the favorite one. What favorite one? You have to have communication. Look at the guidelines.
You see, now...
completely ignored him
time
afterwards.
out, guys. Goldie, I'm going to snuggle your face. Maybe we need to save this for the, what do you call it, the ending show?
Yeah, that's...
Maybe.
Sorry, but I just...
It's okay. I want to hear this. It's just that I think we need to continue.
Now, I have an idea.
All right.
Now, maybe
I've already
I'm...
finished my story anyway.
Maybe I'm spinning this around into an area that I probably shouldn't. But it seems like Golden Fox's situation there is that the person he was communicating with didn't know how it was meant to be done, which is kind of similar to what Fluttershy did. And if Golden's story is true, then it's almost justifiable that they took their own way, and because they're the experts in that field.
Yeah. Again,
Because Fluttershy didn't know what a floor plan was or any of the official terms, like Golden's guy didn't know what a vector was.
Yeah. Anyways, I pass it back to Boyce. Wait, no. Yeah.
Yes, it's to me. So I have a feeling this episode really, really hates architect majors.
Go on.
Because there was a line, actually, I have the transcript up. Where was it? Oh, yeah. It's where Fluttershy, after getting rid of the experts, she's talking to the girls. It's like, she's saying, you're all just trying to do your help, but I know that letting all the experts go was the right call. Yeah, maybe those experts, but experts in general, yeah, no.
That's touching on the moral that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Experts are there for a reason. Like, actually, one of the big things is, when I hear that, is limitations. Like, if, for example, what Fluttershy was asking for actually wasn't that bad. The experts just went against what what her intended designs were. But if she got someone who was actually good at their craft, but they couldn't do it because of the limitations of the surroundings.
Yes.
Then that would be an even bigger problem. So instead it doesn't make like in this situation, I actually agree with Fluttershy. They went because they had the capability to do they had the capability to do whatever her design, whatever her intentions were. But again, it was just bad communication. Instead of the opposite, where her goal, if it were the opposite, where her goals were absolutely exuberant, but the limitations were limitation of the experts, like, I can't do this with these parameters. It's gonna cost you a lot more, and B, I don't have the necessary resources or materials to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, like Fluttershy saying getting rid of the experts, as the idea is bad. In context with the show, in context with the episode, it worked, but the implications afterwards is really, really bad.
What Voice just did is summarize my entire hatred with this episode in a much more clearer and understandable way. So fair play to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
all right, and Fox, other Fox.
Other Fox. Is
J
Jason
Fox, are
here,
you
or
here?
did he have to go?
Is he still here?
He might have had to step out. Uh-oh.
Hello, my name is J Fox, and I'm going to talk about the thing I don't like. I agree with British Ninja and everything he has to say.
Oh, don't you even, man.
I think he's the best orange person on this podcast.
Just drop it. Just
Definitely
drop it.
not like
no, drop it. Just drop it, man. Just drop it.
Okay, hang on. I'll just message him.
Yes, but I suppose I'll keep rambling about why it's awesome there. Like, as someone from going into the games dev industry, I would absolutely love to go out on my own and make my perfect vision of a game, but the limitations that exist in reality but don't exist in this episode are much more painful than that. Like, how am I going to fund this game? Who am I going to get to do the stuff that I can't do? How long is it going to take? How am I going to have money to do it for that long? Like, these limitations and questions come up in reality, and they don't really come up in this episode. They just kind of poof, and then it's made. You know, how much did that cost? Were they going to pay the experts to begin with? Is this place safe from weather effects? Because that didn't look very secure. One rainstorm could blow that stuff right over. It's just not thought through. The execution and the writing of stuff is just really not good this episode. And I could go on my angry rant about how this implements stuff into kids' dreams, but I've been told not to, so I don't know, maybe I'll make a video and then pay Blissy to edit it or something.
I guess I'll throw in my piece. Now, here's the thing. I said that we can talk about the moral civilly. Not, like, go overboard with it. We can still talk about the moral. We've finished up our positives and negatives, so I think we can talk about it. Just as long as we don't go and do throwing tables and spitting fire and cat fights and whatnot.
Elior isn't here.
Oh my god, Mitchell.
Wow.
Okay,
Well then,
but the name is... fine, you people smash.
No, I'm just saying, it's your funeral, dude. I ain't gonna protect you.
Okay.
Oh, Blissy, I have 7 death wishes in chronological order.
Well, should we all address the elephant of the room about this episode then?
We might as well.
Well, we've kind of danced around it pretty well and kind of got the foundation going with the limitations that exist in reality and not in the episode, but go on.
Can I just say it the way I think Uncle Jasper said it to me, and I think his way summed it up perfectly how I view it. I don't think the moral should have been to follow your dreams. It should have been to stand up for your goal.
I guess,
I kind of saw it as that, though.
I know it was meant to be that she wanted to fulfill this dream, but the way it was written, the way the conflict portrayed, it felt like it's not about reaching a dream, it's about fighting for it or standing your ground for it. There was no fighting, there was no obstacle like preventing her from achieving this dream. It was an obstacle of miscommunication and that people disagreed with her view. And she was holding her ground on it. That was the moral. The moral of the story, I felt, was standing up for your goal. And I don't like that they called it a dream. I don't know. It just did not sit right with me.
The term dream was that was very hyperbolic of them to go for.
Hyperbole, yes. Like, with the I get it. I've been in similar situations where I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I have an idea and I have a vision. It's why I edit a lot of my own videos, or at least until maybe future stuff. Because when I have an idea for a video, I know that if I let someone else edit it, they're not going to do it quite the same way I would. And that's fine, that's compromise and stuff like that. But, you know, I understand the passion and the idea of going, yeah, okay, this is what I want, and nothing can be different from what I see, or else it's not going to sit right with me. What they really mess up is the whole limitations thing, and ignoring the experts, which, yeah, the experts were awful, but that's just another bad thing about this episode. In reality, experts aren't evil things here to crush your dreams. They're people who ask these limitations. Like, hey, what if the animals just kill each other? What if don't they need to be in cages in this kind of situation? Don't they need a strong structure to survive weather and stuff? And yeah, they were awful in this one, just going on about it. Mm-hmm. But that's hardly what it'd be like in reality.
If I may.
So
I think it... Oh, go ahead. Were you still going, or...?
I was just going to wrap it up by saying that, hey, ignore all the experts that are naysayers to your vision and just follow your dream, as they put it. is a really, what I would consider a dangerous moral.
I agree.
Yeah. If I may...
I don't think that's what they were going for. Go ahead, Toon.
Yeah, if I may, I think what would have been interesting, perhaps, an alternative to this, I guess, how it would be perceived in reality. Maybe an alternative to this would have been Fluttershy perhaps becoming a vet. I mean, that seems to be a little bit more grounded and a lot more possible, too, because as a vet, she would be able to take care of the animals and do what she could. I could see her being a vet later on. I mean, her wanting to build this sanctuary takes a lot. Like, it does take the necessary PR for it. It takes the necessary building for it. It takes the necessary groundskeeping for it. It's not something that can be done by just one person, and it is good to follow your dreams, but every dream has to have some reality to it.
You know what I realized? This is like the exact, like the moral message is like the exact opposite of Spice Up Your Life. Like the moral of that one was, okay, it's okay to have critiques, just don't shove your
different
opinion down everyone's throat. This one's saying ignore the critics and do what you love.
I see similarities between the two.
I can see that.
I'd like to respond briefly to Nightmare Rider's stuff. It's like, well, you guys get off the reality train so much, and I'm not complaining that Fluttershy reached her dream. I think that's fine. I think it's how they got there. And I think that if you're going to teach a moral, if you're going to teach a moral in a show, then that moral is obviously going to be transmuted over to the children, and whichever they interpret it, that's fine. They might interpret it well, they might interpret it not at all. That's when it switches over to reality. That's when you need realistic morals that kids will be able to use in life. Like, it's all fine and dandy for Fluttershy to accomplish her dream in this magical world where limitations don't exist, but good luck trying to do that in real life.
There's got to be a little bit of reality and risk involved. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, if I may. This is going to be echoing off of what British said. We do have to have this quote-unquote reality train because it's not an absolute, but kids are going to think differently. And this is on the same level as to why I try not to, spark up any arguments. This is why I had a huge problem with the moral of Newbie Dash, along with the moral of Super Speedy, where AJ said, I didn't learn diddly squat, so screw you, Celestia. Because kids are going to take that in the most irrational manner possible. I'm not saying it will, but it could happen, because some kids will take that message and say, I didn't do my math multiplication homework because I know it the whole time. You have to go to detention now. That happened because of an episode. Kids can do that. As for and same thing with the message of Newbie Dash, of trying to, lay the whole hashing or trying to haze somebody. That's what bullies do. They take their problems out on others, and it becomes such a bad influence if they think that laying this type of behavior on them to toughen them up without informing them properly. Pardon me for sounding hyperbolic, but how many times have we heard stories of gun shootouts at multiple schools?
Too many.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So now I would rather deal with Fluttershy leans in on that message than those two sad episodes. Along with that, I couldn't stand Somebody to Watch Over Me. Voice and I can agree on the moral on that one. But all of this is applied as the quote-unquote reality train, because you have to think realistically. Because if a kid watches it and takes what is particularly taken to heart of that said episode, there could be problems. Go ahead. As for how I feel about this episode, I do agree that it should have been worded differently. I feel as though Fluttershy should have been more informative on how she wanted it done. She should have said something like, this is mostly an open ground area. We just need just a few little places that you construction workers do, come through and everything. And I think that could have been played out throughout the episode. And a similar thing with the cages. Or maybe they could just say, we could build a fence because there's some animals over the food chain and everything. Yes. It is applying to some realistic elements to it, but I think it could have worked in the episode. But personally, I don't have that big of an issue with the moral.
I mean, here's a reality example that I mean, just to prove a point, this is how the episode came off to me. Let's say I have a dream to build a robot horse. Yeah, that was a dream of mine as a kid. I want to build a robot horse. I hire 3 experts. One is in robotics, another is in physics and chemicals, and the other is in engineering. And they have contingencies because there's a problem with balance, there's a problem with materials, there's a problem with how is this thing going to work. And they're going to tell me, well, you can't have the head do this for real like a real animal because it's physically incapable, it will topple over. Or the engineer will say, you can't build this machine with like diesel or gas because it will collide with the mechanics inside. My point is that you can't always have it your way because there are contingencies. There should be limits, because sometimes that happens in a dream. You can still accomplish a dream. It won't be exact because nobody's perfect. Our world is not perfect, and from what the MLP show displays, it's not a perfect world either. We can't always have it our way, and I'm just saying that what probably would have made it a little bit better in regards to writing is that maybe Fluttershy couldn't have it exactly the way she wanted, but they could have gotten to a point where the animals were happy, and the vet would be happy, and she would be happy, and it would still work out. That's my problem. But instead, she's like, no, it's going to be my way. No one's going to intervene. Nobody's going to say, well, maybe we need to have like a rock here just in case. No, it's going to be my way.
I can see how that can easily go south. So I definitely see that part.
You know, and here's the thing. I wanted a kind of bittersweet ending. Like, what would have been the perfect ending is that if Fluttershy went on her whole piece about, follow your dreams and everything, and then she built the thing, and then a thing falls down. It doesn't all completely collapse, but something falls down or something goes wrong, and then the episode ends. Like, it doesn't conclude. It'd either be a work in progress, or it would show the consequences of just straight up ignoring practical things.
Answering a question in the stream, I think it is best that Jan Barrow wrote this episode, I think, because the way that she writes with her books and with the episodes I've seen, it's more down to earth. It's more so understanding, trying to understand from a practical standpoint, and also how situations can unravel, and eventually how they're figured out. I like how she does that. It seems a little bit more grounded and, yes, a little bit more realistic. I think that she was the best choice for this episode.
I can agree to that. Because I don't know how Nick Collin, I can't say his name. I don't know how Nick Conflon would do it. Most of his work has been relied on humor. Dave Rapp has been mostly revolved around, like, I would say it's more like Cindy Morrow 2.0 in that they're like psychological issues or social turmoils that the said episodes had, such as Newbie Dash and Flutter Brother, which involves that whole fear of failure or being your worst enemy and such. And I don't think that would have been working towards, trying to, fulfill a goal or a personal goal of wanting to build a sanctuary. And this is just my own personal opinion over that. I don't know who else writes for this show. I don't think Ed Valentine would have been suitable for it either. So
let's have Meriwether Williams come back to do this. See how well that turns out.
Now, okay, people crap over that writer a lot.
I wasn't
but
crapping.
Wasn't her latest stuff not so bad?
Yeah,
she got better over time. She wrote Wonderbolt's Academy and
Bats.
Bats was pretty fun.
Bats definitely still has that mixed views. Like, there's some people who really hate the episode, and like, there's people like me who just, for some reason, just enjoys it.
No, I just remembered when Mr. Ender did his review. He's like, "Oh my god, it finally happened! No, not an episode involving Meriwether Williams that actually is halfway decent. No, we actually found an episode title that's worse than Magic Duel."
Also, seriously.
Yeah, he did. I remember.
Oh, I'm
that.
sorry. No, I posted it in the chat.
Oh,
and
Jay.
I want to.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry
It's
about
okay,
that.
that's
You are
okay.
just in time. Would you like to wrap this all up?
Sure.
This is the
what
thing
other
you didn't like.
What other topics did I? Oh, things I didn't like.
We covered
just
the
one thing
moral.
you didn't like.
Bliss kind of touched on this, but honestly, the side character experts were really the worst thing on this episode, in my opinion. Because, like, I'll admit, she didn't give them a very good plan, like a very detailed plan, but she still gave them a plan and openly stated that she was totally willing to help out where needed, and yet they were like, "Oh, no, you don't know what you want. I know what you want. I got this. No.
Hold on, is that
I got this. I got this."
Jay? Was that true? Like she said that she's willing to help out with future suggestions or something?
I'm pretty sure. I might have just, I could have just, my brain could have put that in post, but at the same
Okay.
time, she still was like, well, hey, this is kind of the thing I'm going for, so if you think there's a way you can... No. I got this. I got this.
I got this.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got this. Famous last words before you got your butt handed to you by Thunderblight. I dropped the mic.
Sorry for, and again, I'm sorry for making you stall for so long.
Don't
I know
worry,
you
I
that's
got a lot of
okay.
good things out of it. So,
I
was that
know,
it,
but
Jay?
you set this time aside, and oh yeah, I'm done.
Okay, I think that nice wraps up everything. Good, and we didn't kill each other, so that's good.
Yay!
All right.
Yay!
Yay! Wait, what's this Triton in me?
Sorry, force of habit.
Anyways,
Oh,
so I understand that Canada is currently roughly about 2 episodes ahead of us right now, soon to be almost 4, then maybe 6. We're still keeping with a
Wait.
consistent schedule. 8?
Wait, how do you mean roughly 2?
Because
Are they airing half an episode right now?
2 new episodes aired Saturday and Sunday, and the episode that was supposed to come out yesterday aired a week ago.
Okay.
So it's whatever. So anyway, join us next week when we talk about Forever Philly with, by British Ninja suggestion, Fat Man Falling.
Well,
Yeah.
join them, not me. I won't be here. I'll
You were a
be
good
playing
guest.
Kingdom
You were a
Hearts.
great
I'll-
guest, though, Jay.
I'll
You're
be
good.
off traversing across the stars, screaming at why you should cast Arrow constantly.
Kind
I
of
really liked
too,
how,
but-
Jay Fox was
kidding.
very talkative this episode. Man, he couldn't stop talking this episode.
I know.
There was definitely no part where he was silent for a majority of the thing.
Well, the problem there is that, like, there's this frequency that I hit once I talk long enough that human ears don't really catch it. You have to, okay, you would have to find the audio file, and you just find this little band of sound waves.
We're gonna decode Jay Fox's cryptic message.
And as always, thank you for watching this live. If you've made it this far,
If you made it this far,
Hashtag-
I'm sorry.
giraffes are dumb.
Hashtag
no,
tuning
no one
from
likes
That is not
giraffes.
gonna catch. No, I got one. I'll take one for the team. Hashtag Bunny Bliss.
Hashtag
No,
Bunny
no
Bliss.
better.
No,
Okay.
no. Hang on, let's think of a good one. Let me. give me
Hashtag
a sec.
architecture trigger.
Wait,
Hashtag
Wait.
Silent J like Fjord.
what was that voice?
Hashtag architecture triggered.
Hashtag
about-
architecture. People won't even know how to spell that.
No, that's long. Let's put
Architect triggered. There we go,
Bunny
architect
Bliss
triggered
is
as
seeming
one
to
word.
dominate.
let's put
Bunny
Bunny
Bliss
Bliss and
it is.
Ninja Piss. Yes.
Anyways, thank you guys for turning out for this episode. Join us on the next episode that we do, which should be fun, hopefully, and Canada will stop being dumb by then. So, thank you for watching, and stay awesome.
Giraffes are us.
Oh, jeez.
We've done